Hi everyone, and welcome to this little walkthrough and setup guide on the Dfinity SDK. Throughout this walkthrough, I hope to demonstrate how to set up a new project with the SDK and have a simple little script running on a mock Dfinity node. This walkthrough is mainly geared towards those newer to the SDK, so it might be less helpful to those of you who have already been digging into it and reading through the documentation. But if you're new, then this should be pretty helpful, so feel free to follow along and let's get started. Now, I'm already going to assume that you have been to sdk.dfinity.org and have downloaded the latest version of the SDK on your machine. If you have, once you have done that, let's check this out. Make sure we have the latest version. We do. Now let's use the new command to create a new project. We're going to call this project permutation. Okay, as you can see, all the latest files and all the correct files and directories were created with this command. Now let's go into our new directory that we created for this new project, permutation, and let's list the files in there. As we can see, we have our source file and our dfx.json file. This JSON file is important for building your project and getting all the latest settings. So let's actually open this up in the project we just created. We see our JSON file. I want to edit this in Notepad++. As you can see right now, it automatically sets it to hello. With the current version of the SDK, we're going to need to change that to our latest one. So we're going to call it permutation. Hopefully this will be updated so we don't have to do this in a new version of the SDK, but as of right now, let's just save it. Okay, excellent. Now let's rename one of the directories that we have that is also named hello. So let's call this source/hello. Let's rename this to source/permutation. Alrighty. Now let's change into source/permutation. Let's list the files in here. And as we can see, this main file, this is the main file where we're going to put all of our Motoko code. And this is one of the major files that we're going to be working with when it comes to uploading our latest projects. So let's check out that file right now. You go into source, permutation, main. I want to edit this in Notepad++ again. And as you can see right now, it's the main sort of hello world sort of code set up in here. And I just want to change this actor to be that of a little permutation script that I have here. So let's save this. Alright, now let's go back. Let's move back to our main permutation project directory. Alright, now we can actually build our project. So this is pretty much the same thing for those of you who've used any of the major IDEs and major programming language. You need to rebuild your language to generate the necessary files from your code change. So let's do that. If it says building permutation without any errors, that means it's correct. So there's no errors. Let's move forward. Let's actually start a Dfinity node. And this background option sets it to run in the background in the same terminal. If we did not specify the background option here, we'd actually need to open up another terminal to continue running commands on. For those of you, you might want to do that, but for right now we're not, so we're just going to have this run in the... My bad. That's not how you spell background. There we go. Alright, it's started. Now, let's actually install the canister. So every single time that we actually have to start a node, we actually have to reinstall the canister on that node. So canister install, we called it permutation. So let's install it. Looks like it installed correctly. Now we can actually run the code within our canister. So permutation, actually we call our permutation. Now we can run a function which we already specified as compute, and here's a way we can add parameters into our, the function that we have specified. This is just a basic permutation function, so we're just going to pass in 10 and 4. As we can see, we get the correct answer for our permutation that ran. And that's kind of basically to it for starting a node, installing the canister, and then running a function within that canister. Now, if say we want to make an edit to this, say we want to change this to a 2. Let's save this. Well, now we're going to need to rebuild this. So let's stop this node. And we have to actually rebuild the project. Rebuild in permutation, everything's correct. Let's move forward. Let's run a new node in the background. It's started. Excellent. Now, actually I want to point something out real quick. If for any point where we do not install a canister before we try running function within that canister, we'll get an error. So let me just demonstrate that real quick. And you're going to see canister not found because we never installed the canister. This is something you need to do every single time you run a new node. You need to install the canister again. So let's actually install the canister. Install permutation. Now the canister is successfully installed. Now we can actually run the function within our canister, and this should succeed. And there you have it. The answer is wrong because we changed the file, but in essence, that is the function is working, and we are actually on our way, and we can pretty much continue just coding along if we so wish, making updates to it. One of the major things, though, is remember once you edit that main.mo file, you need to always rebuild it. So you need to run dfx rebuild. And you need to start a new node. And once you start the new node, you need to reinstall the canister every single time before you actually start running functions from within that canister. All right, that's all I have for right now. Thank you for watching this little tutorial. I'll probably be back around giving more tips and tricks out once I start getting into more in-depth coding, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.